The next clip is the first 20 minutes of a Crossing Borders podcast episode. Visit youtube.com/@CrossingBordersPodcast or check out Crossing Borders on Spotify or Google Podcasts for the full episode. Links are available in the description. Welcome, listeners, to Crossing Borders, a podcast not about immigration. Believe it or not, I am your host, Josh, also known as Mythic, and this is my co-host, Sid, also known as Squidney. Grab your passports and join us for episode 8, where we will be talking about stupid stereotypes. Are they true or are they false? But first, let's catch up with each other's week. So, Squidney, how has your week been? What's up?
My week, it actually kind of flew by, to be completely honest. But I do have a story to share, and it's actually from this week.
That's nice. That's wonderful.
A lot of the previous episodes, we've been sharing stories from not the week of, but this one is from this week. But it is pretty short.
Hey, shush. No one was supposed to know that. Shush.
What? I mean,
oh no. Oh, well, that's out. It's out there now. It's fine. Anyways.
No. Well, cat's out of the bag. This story, it is pretty short, but it just happened to me at work. So I work as a substitute teacher at my local high school.
That annoying substitute teacher, that's Squidney right there.
Yeah, that's me. No, but so I hear all these conversations all the time, and I think it was yesterday. But I was subbing.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was Monday.
Okay.
I was subbing in a class. Obviously, that's my job. And the class was starting. The students were filing in, and one of them sat down and was like, "Oh my goodness," talking to her friend. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I could not figure out what to wear today. I tried on 8 different shirts." And I thought the story would fit really well with our stereotypes subject today.
I'm sorry. Wait, 8 different shirts for school.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh my goodness, I went through 8 different shirts this morning, and I decided on one, but I'm not sure if I really like it for today. I have literally no clothes." She said that word for word. I have literally no clothes. And then a few seconds later, she was like, well, I have 200 shirts. Not even kidding.
That is very interesting to know.
I'm like, what?
Okay.
Where do you keep your shirts?
I know. How would that even fit?
Just has crates of shirts.
A full loot box of shirts.
Oh yeah. What about you? What interesting things have happened to you of late?
There's 2 interesting things I want to talk about. But first, we will add this to our Education Across Borders Part 3, but there's a difference in dress code, so that's interesting to talk about later on. Anyways, my first story was actually from 2 weeks ago, I believe. I believe it's 2 weeks ago. Let me see the calendar here. Yeah, it was exactly 2 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
When I was, since we're talking about stereotypes anyway, I am of Asian ethnicity, especially Chinese, and we celebrate Chinese New Year every single year. Obviously, it's instead of celebrating New Year's at exactly 1 January, we celebrate the Chinese New Year. At least for this year, it was on the 22nd of January.
Ah, cool.
And the tradition for at least in my family, usually we would visit our grandparents' house, or at least since my grandma lives with me. So my other cousins and my uncle and auntie would come to my house and have a big feast together. Catch up, play some cards, talk, and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
It's been really good to
big
catch
family
up with them.
get together.
There was a lot of us, and my house was getting super crowded. But I managed to get through it. However, we played a game. Have you ever heard of Undercover or Mr. White?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's an app game. We're not sponsored, by the way, but I wouldn't. I mean, if you want to sponsor,
if you want,
sure. I mean, it's no. Okay. Anyways, we played this game using a mobile app. So I used my phone, download the app, and it's basically a game where there are 3 sides to the game.
Okay.
There are the civilians, which if you ever play Werewolf, you're just like the sort of the useless guys, but not really. The second type is the Undercover, and the third type is the Mr. White.
Okay.
So in a game, I believe we played. There were 10 people at the time. So one person was Mr. White, 2 person was undercover, and the rest was civilians.
Okay.
Now, when we pass the phone along to get our roles, we are also given a word, you see. For civilians, for example, the word was guitar, okay? And then for undercover, they get the word of banjo. So they're both very similar items, right? Or stuff.
Yeah.
But for Mr. White, you don't get any word. You're just being told you are the Mr. White. Okay? Get what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then, in each round, every single person has to describe what their word is with one word that is not that word itself. If that makes sense. So, for example, if I was the guy who got guitar, I would say wood, because guitar is made of wood most of the time.
Yeah, most of them
and then
are.
the next person beside me, for example, the word for him was the banjo. He would say strings. That's very general, right? Both guitar.
Yeah, that applies to both guitar and banjo.
Now here's the thing, though. Since Mr. White does not get a word, when it's his turn to describe the items, he can't be found out that he's the Mr. White, right? Because at the end of each round, we would vote one person out, and if the amounts of civilian is equals or under the amounts of undercover, we would lose. If the Mr. White can guess the word, he would win. See what I'm saying here? And
I see.
The undercover and civilians, we don't know which side we're on. We are not told if you're undercover or civilian. You just get a word. So things would get really interesting, really, really fast.
Nice.
The one that I remember was I got lightning, and I was undercover. I didn't know that lightning was undercover word. The civilian word was thunder. Yeah, you see? Thunder's the sound, lightning's the thing, the one that you see.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I forgot who got Mr. White, but yeah. So it was my turn. I said, rain. And then the next person says a cloud, and the next person says, Yeah. And then after one round, we start sussing out who are the undercover. I didn't know I was an undercover, so I thought I was a civilian. It's like, okay, that guy, he mentions, since my word was lightning, he mentions loud, right? And I was like, that doesn't sound right. Lightning doesn't have a sound, So
technically, thunder has the sound.
Yeah. That's why. So we voted him out. And it turns out he was a civilian. So like, okay, well, that makes me in a bad position now. And
here I go.
And the games goes on, and it's a lot of fun. I mean, if you have friends to play with, it's a lot of fun to play, from my experience at least. And then we I got the chance to be a Mr. White, right?
Oh yeah.
The word was if I can remember here, it was swamp and forest. So very similar as well. But I could not guess what the word was.
Very similar. One's just soggy.
Yeah. When it was my turn, I just said something super general, but also something to confuse. I was pretending I was not the Mr. White, right? Because when you're describing
it's a noun.
Yeah. When you're describing words, you can say something super weird just to throw off the Mr. White. And I was pretending that I was not Mr. White, trying to throw off Mr. White. So I just said clown, and everyone looked at me and was like, "What? I'm just trying to distract the Mr. White, And I got voted out instantly. Come on, man. Come on. That was a good strategy. Come on.
Well, yeah, I can see why they booted you out. Just saying.
Oh dear. And
that's like the most sus thing ever. Trees. Grass.
Clown.
Everyone looks at you. They're like,
come on.
And you're like,
come on.
It's a clown forest.
Come on. It works. It should have worked. I thought I was big brain.
If you really think about it.
Clowns might be in the forest. Maybe it's their lit. Maybe.
I mean, technically, clowns wear rubber noses, and rubber, at least the original non-synthetic rubber, comes from trees, and trees make up forests. So if you really think
about it, I'm the smart one there, but no one was on my level. Yeah, we'll keep it at that.
Yeah, okay.
And my second story before we continue with our topic today is literally today. I came from sort of a cram school, but not really. It was sort of more of a support, just to make you better at math or better at physics or biology or whatever. And
okay, yeah.
while we were studying, I had a really fun teacher who had the exact same name as me, and he's a really fun guy.
Oh.
And he's like to just have fun, saying some funny stuff while studying, and then like challenging us to answer the question. So he was a fun math teacher, I would say. But while he was teaching, and it was like a sort of like a serious mode, someone sneezed so hard I jumped almost. I was so shocked. I jumped and I almost fell out of my chair.
You do scare really easily, and it's funny.
Yeah, I am. I mean, if anyone's been to my YouTube channel, go subscribe to Mystic Magician at YouTube. You've probably seen me
Shameless
on stream,
plug.
just like being shocked by either Finley or you, Squidney, Sydney.
Yeah. I just walk up, I'm like, hi, and he's like, oh my goodness, I almost died. How could you?
That's me. That's me. Yeah, I easily scare. Easily. But I also like to scare people, so that's a plus.
Yeah, nobody scared me yet.
Not yet.
I don't scare easily unless there's something literally like flying towards my face,
Well, I will personally send you a cockroach then. That sounds like a good gift.
No. No.
There's really big ones here, just saying.
Oh yeah, they'd probably die here, to be completely honest. It's really cold.
Oh, cockroaches survive anything, man, to be honest. Even if you nuclear bomb the cockroach, they will still survive, I think.
Yeah, but it just might just go like, nah, I'm out of here, and just fly south back to like Indonesia. It flies all the way back to Indonesia. It's like, hey, I'm back. And you're like, no. Phyllis, I sent you away. And he's like, nay, I've come for your soul.
No. Oh no. Oh dear. Anyways, let's jump right into today's topic, which is stereotypes.
Yeah.
You've heard of them. What's the definition of stereotypes, Squidney? Come on, tell us.
Well, stereotype is it's like a prejudice. It's preconceived notion that generalizes a group of individuals, typically based off of like country, race, height, gender, things like that, that are typically untrue, but often are applied to all the people, of that demographic. A widely held but fixed and oversimplified image or idea of a particular type of person or thing.
Excellent explanation. And
yeah, I googled the definition.
it's it's usually in a negative connotation, not in a positive one. But there are some positive stereotypes, but that's not fun to talk about. Let's talk about the negative one. Let's be real here.
Nah.
Anyways, I think we should like do an intertwined one. So like go back and forth between Asian, which I'm from technically, Asian or Chinese stereotypes, and then American stereotypes. You can look it up if you want. Because we'll be taking from some sources here for the stereotypes. And I'm going to start first, I think. So a stereotype from America. This is from Wikipedia, so blame Wikipedia for this.
Okay, I see.
Apparently, you guys in America are obsessed with guns. Apparently. So, is it true or not, Suni? You've lived in America since you were born, so you probably know more than I do.
Yeah.
What's up in there?
Well, it really depends on the family. I mean, guns are legal in the U.S. and they're illegal in a lot of other countries. And Americans definitely are way more like, ooh, guns than most other countries. Because like our Constitution has like the First Amendment, which is part of the Constitution. Is like we have the right to bear arms, and then everyone's like, oh, we have the right to own guns as the core principle of our country. Yeah,
I can see that happening. I mean, it's already happened.
Yeah. Okay. A ton of a ton of people in my area, since I live out west, in Idaho, where there's lots of forests, lots of just miles of sagebrush, own guns, mostly for hunting or just for like, oh, if someone breaks into my house, I can point a gun at them and kick them out.
I see.
Although mostly for hunting.
How about you? Have you held a gun before in your life?
I have held a gun before. Yes.
I see. Well, what did it feel like? Because I've never held a gun before, obviously. What does it feel? Does it feel like? Do you feel like, oh no, I should not be trusted with this, or you're like, oh yeah.
Well, like physically while holding it, it feels kind of what I expected. They're kind of heavy because, depending on the gun, obviously. But like the sense of power, I'm like I could take over. No, just kidding.
Oh no!
Uh,
Oh no!
there's definitely when you're holding a gun, you're like I could move my like I could just move my finger and literally kill someone. I have like a weapon of mass destruction in my hand. It's like kind of like a little
Yeah,
bit of
it's.
like a sense of what's the word? It's like awe, kind of, or like
Mm-hmm.
respect. You're like, oh, this is a powerful tool of death. I'm not going to use it, of course, but I'll
One
shoot
click
targets.
and a life is just gone. That's
Yeah,
insane to think about. If you really think about it, and you're not trigger happy to just
yeah.
shoot people.
Of course, on the other side, when you're like at a shooting range and you're like shooting targets, you're just like bang, 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 and you're like, yeah, America.
Yeah, I can hit every single target. Oh, I'm a sharpshooter. Oh yeah.
I haven't hit my target yet, on purpose, of course, to everyone else's
What?
targets. No, I'm
What?
just kidding.
Excuse me?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah, I know. I got you. So, what is the stereotype you want to ask of me? It can either be Chinese or Asian stereotypes in general. Up to you.
Okay, let's see.
Or maybe
An
Indonesian
Asian
stereotypes. I
stereotype.
can answer that too.
I don't know specifically Indonesia stereotypes, but I do know a few Asian stereotypes that I
Okay.
have heard.
Throw it on me. I am maybe ready.
Okay. Are Asians bad drivers?
Oh, I knew this was gonna come. Okay. Um.
Yeah.
Okay. So driving, right? I
Mhm.
I can definitely say from my own experience riding my motorbike throughout Jakarta, the capital city of Indonesia.
Yeah.
Some people are, oh my gosh, come on, man, come on. But I can see why that could happen because, at least in Indonesia, okay, I can't speak for other countries. I know some other countries are more about their bad driving because of being drunk driving. But
Yeah.
at least for me, and what I've heard of Philippines, which is just the country above Indonesia, yeah, man, driving license are more of a guideline. Not a guideline. What's it called? More of a like. Okay, you can drive.
Suggestion.
I'm not saying you're good at driving, but you can drive now. You know, because at least here, it's not a secret. I can just say this. Most people already do
Yeah.
it anyway, but here in Indonesia, it's sort of corrupt, the driving license system. You usually take your theory, or like a theory, or theoretical test, and then you do the practical test, which was the actual driving.
Okay.
But so this was before my era. This is like back in the day. Back in the day, they would do these theoretical tests using paper, right? Not now it's digitalized with computers, so there's no like they can't really
Yeah.
cheat it, But back in the day, they would just fail you on purpose multiple times, even though you've like keep retrying. I mean, you pay for these tests, right? You pay once
Yeah.
until you graduate. So like you only it's a one-time payment, and then you can take over the test over and over again. But after a while, it gets annoying because you
Okay.
can only take one test every single day, and after you fail, you're just gone. There's no retrials. You have to try it tomorrow.
Like the 8th time, you're just like, like the 8th or 9th time, you're just like the same answers every single time, but they're still wrong. What's going on?
I know,
Come
like
on.
so. Hearing from my stories, at least from my parents and from people around
Mhm.
me, these cops, as they call themselves, would fail you, and then they were like, "Don't worry, you'll get it next time." Or if you want help, quote unquote help, let's meet under the tree over there, And he would ask, or he or she would ask for an envelope. Of course, you might know it's filled with money, most likely, for them to
Or ham.
help you pass the
Yeah.
test.
Yeah.
And it's been like their profit.
You know-
Like they make profit from this. It's not.
Yeah.
It's,
As a
not
friend,
secret.
I'm gonna
Most
help you
Indonesians know
pass
already.
the test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the theoretical test. For the practical test, is even more annoying because one mistake you make, you're not gonna pass. They won't tolerate anything. I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
if they aren't corrupt.
Yeah.
But the problem is they are corrupt, so it's not good times two. It's not good square. It's they would fail you and then do the same exact thing. Hey, I've seen you try a bunch of times. What do we meet under that now that this tree over here, and we'll help you pass the test as well. And most people,
they're watching that tree now. We're gonna move trees.
Oh no, oh dear. But yeah, they will. Most people have pay to win driver's license. Check out Crossing Borders Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Google Podcasts for the full episode. Links are available in the description. Thanks for listening.